From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
And broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome to this Monday morning edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark's Ford Studio. This morning, our long-awaited nightmare is over. Ole Miss has a defensive coordinator. Can put that to bed. Mike MacIntyre will be announced at some point this week whenever university I's and T's and whatnot dotted. This happened on Sunday. You can read all about it at rebelgrove.com. We've got everything from what he's inheriting as an Ole Miss defense, some salary numbers, kind of his background, some recruit reaction, and much more there on the website at rebelgrove.com. We'll dive into it here shortly. We'll also tell you that we'll be in Jackson tomorrow night at the Westin. It's an event from 5 to 7 at the Westin. The M Club will be there. We'll have plenty of other things going on as well. Our show from 6 to 7. Kermit Davis going to join us in the beginning of that, probably 15, 20 minutes. Ole Miss men's basketball coach, and then Mike Espy, former Ole Miss wide receiver, is going to get up on stage with us the rest of the time. Mike MacIntyre recruited Espy to Ole Miss. We'll talk football. We'll talk MacIntyre. We'll talk much more with Espy during the show Tuesday night. So Cash Bar, free hors d'oeuvres. Come hang out 5 to 7 there at the Westin there in Jackson. I think we're going to have some Dead Soxy giveaway. We're going to have koozies. We'll have different things. So good time tomorrow night at the Westin in Jackson. Also tell you that coming to you every single day, courtesy of the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Lunch specials. I think chicken spaghetti is the special today. If you maybe guess that. $4.99 ribs, bottomless refills on those stadium cups. Go in, buy it every time you go in. After that, just 49 cents to fill that bad boy up. Daiquiris, still doing them in the wintertime. I had a friend take a picture of it, showed me they bought the 32-ounce daiquiri over the weekend. Took advantage of that. I think the Hurricane was the flavor on that one. So take advantage of that there at the Oxford Exxon. Again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call the number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what new Ford you're looking for, and then he'll send you an email with a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's that simple. It's right to the bottom line. There's no haggling. There's no hassle. It is just an easy car buying experience. Corey wants to be your truck guy. He wants to be your car guy. He'll prove it to you during the process. Great service after the sale, delivery options, all of those things. We'll make it even better for you. Tell Corey at the end of your deal that you heard about Clark Ford on the podcast, and you'll get $500 off the bottom line from your deal at Clark Ford, 662-257-1900.
Felt like it had been going on for a month, really only hard for, I guess, a week or so, something along those lines. But after all the Pete Golding saga, things turned toward Mike MacIntyre over the weekend. I think they gave him the offer on Saturday and then accepted it on Sunday. MacIntyre was in town on Thursday and into Friday a little bit. Obviously, you know by now, he was at Ole Miss from 99 to 02, 98 to 01. I'd have to look at my notes a little bit. Either way, coach wide receivers, defensive backs during that tenure, was with Bill Parcells, had a couple NFL stops, Jets and Cowboys, Duke defensive coordinator, and then obviously head coaching jobs at San Jose and Colorado, where he turned both those programs around. Then was let go from Colorado after winning 10 games over 2 seasons, following that big year in 2016. So MacIntyre starting sometime this week, and frankly, Neal, as we kind of get into it a little bit, got to get to work because you got a signing day, you got some other stuff to do, but this wasn't about that. This was more about the stability of the program. This was about finding the right guy, and I put this in Twitter, you put this in 10 Thoughts a little bit yesterday too, doing it in a really good way for Ole Miss and in a very time-efficient way, because you wanted to exhaust everything with Golden, see where you were there, see if you could get that done, but then at the same time not go so long that you lose out on Mac and have to do this complete reset, because I do believe that if Mike MacIntyre was not the guy, this thing probably lingers even after the early signing period. So Ole Miss, pretty good job of managing the time expectations with this hire.
Yeah, I thought they handled it really well, honestly. There was a lot of, obviously, angst and refresh button hitting on Pete Golding, the assistant at Alabama. In the industry, that was viewed as not even a long shot, Chase. That was viewed as a fantasy. Like, no way. No chance that happens. And they went after it, and they got closer than anyone really ever thought they could get. At one point, I think they basically had an agreement. Depends on, did he accept the job? Did he agree to terms? Did he agree to terms? Did he accept the job? He agreed to the terms. He never said, hey, I'm coming. I think he told them, I'm going to go in tomorrow and tell them I want to do it the right way and all that stuff, and then cold feet kicked in. He's not the first guy to get cold feet. He won't be the last guy to get cold feet. I don't think that the way that he handled this on Saturday was particularly professional. But the cold feet part of it, people get cold feet. People have taken jobs. Billy Donovan once took the Orlando Magic job, had the press conference, and then changed his mind. That doesn't make him a horrible human being. These are people, and these are complicated decisions. I suspect that as he gets older, he will wish that he had Saturday over again, where he could have just done it. But a lot of it is, I don't think, to be honest, I'm staying on Golding for a minute. I'm going to get to MacIntyre. I think with Golding, I don't think his mind was made up Saturday. I don't think he was ready to take the job, and I don't think he was ready to turn the job down. And Ole Miss, to its credit, and I think in the past, Ole Miss would have handled this weekly and said, well, let's just give him some time and let the thing drag out to Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, and Mike MacIntyre goes, I'm going to move on. Instead, they said, you know what? I don't like where this is trending. I don't like the lack of communication. We like him. He's a good coach. Let's move on. And they made the offer to MacIntyre, who was not in a big hurry, to my understanding, still was thinking, was surveying the head coaching landscape.
I think they was trying to make sure he couldn't get an immediate head coaching gig.
Surveying the head coaching.
Akron and Temple, too, he died.
Right. Surveying the head coaching landscape. And, I just think as the weekend progressed, he saw that he probably wasn't in the Temple gig very strong at all, if at all. He saw that he was not getting the Akron job. The only other job that could potentially sort of open up that would be of interest to him, I think, might have been Memphis if Mike Norvell were to get the Kansas State job. And it's becoming obvious that we're about to repeat, not obvious, but likely that we're about to repeat the same cycle on Norvell, where he gets to the finish line on one of these jobs and something pops up and he can't get it because it appears that Kansas State's going to wait and try to hire the North Dakota State coach. So, I think at some point MacIntyre looked at it, and then the decision was, do I want to coach? Do I want to take a year off? Colorado's got to pay him a ton of money.
$10.3 million.
Do I want to take a year off, recharge the batteries, hit the refresh button, maybe do some TV, maybe do some consulting, hang with the fam, all of that stuff.
No recruiting, no losses.
The risk on that is that, as some coaches have seen, when you take a year off, sometimes it's hard to get back in. A year off turns into 2 years off. 2 years off turns into 3 or 4 years off. Not to pick on Houston Nutt, but Houston Nutt had some opportunities, did not take them, and now he's done. He's in TV for the rest of the way, probably. I mean, I can't imagine Houston Nutt ever getting hired again. So he decided to do it. Give Ole Miss credit. They got it done on Sunday. I did not think it would get done yesterday. I thought we were going to be down the road a little. They got it done on Sunday, and it's a really good hire. It's a stable hire. It puts another experienced voice in that room. It is someone Matt Luke can lean on. And I wrote this in 10 Thoughts. He can't stop here. This can't be, hey, we traded Wesley McGriff for Mike MacIntyre and we're done. That clearly is not going to work. So there's a lot left to do before anybody gives a final grade. We're nowhere near the final exam.
Probably picking it back up after December 19th is my guess. I think the next 10 days are pretty quiet.
I would guess that, though. I question why they're taking Tyler Siskey off the road. I mean, to me, there's an obvious solution to that. Something's not working. It hasn't worked. Why you give it 9 more days?
Tyler appeared to make a lot of momentum in a very short amount of time.
Well, Tyler's a good recruiter.
Comparatively.
Compared to the person that I'm saying who's not a good recruiter.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's probably a hope that Hugh Freeze will hire Maurice Harris at Liberty. Whether Maurice Harris would go to Liberty or not, I don't know.
I asked you, he didn't respond.
Yeah.
Just fair enough. And we had been talking, so it was a stop moment.
I mean, I won't say it. No, say it.
Yeah.
Would Hugh Freeze take Ole Miss's junk? Would he touch Ole Miss's junk?
I have. Have we had a podcast since that? Or was that Friday? It's all running together. I don't know.
I can't remember.
My days are so screwed up right now. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I made this point in 10 Thoughts. That's the Hugh Freeze problem. That's the Hugh Freeze problem, is he won't listen to anyone. There's no one to say, hey, there's a better way to say that.
Yeah, all we're talking about is a proofreader because, I mean, now look, it's a press conference. One sentence wrong means it's a poor press conference. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He did a pretty good job otherwise, but when you have that dumb of a moment, it overtakes everything else.
He's a very good speaker. He's a very good communicator. He's good at it. He's in his element with that stuff, but you have to think about your words. He doesn't need to talk about handling junk. Ever. It's too easy a joke.
Lord. The other thing, too, kind of thinking about this a little bit, is you mentioned it. They got more work to do. They've still got to make their staff better all the way around, or however they want to do that. I don't know how many changes are going to happen. There's obviously 2 that people are focused on right now, and I think there's another one that could very easily come up as well. I mean, I guess 4 going in. I think that's still kind of where I would put the number if I had to guess with a gun to my head right now. But point being, Mike MacIntyre's job is to run a defense, coach, find ways to make that group competent, and to be a good closer in recruiting, be that oversee guy, just be the guy that can come in and finish some stuff off once relationships are made. I mean, some of these recruits aren't going to know who Mike MacIntyre is. So it's going to this class is not.
Russell ran into that last night.
Yeah, and I told Russell, I mean, little inside baseball here. I said, look, it's not Mike MacIntyre's fault if some guy doesn't know who the Colorado coach was because Colorado didn't recruit him. So
sure.
If somebody has an opinion of Mike MacIntyre, let's report that. If they don't know who he is, let's wait and go from there because that's going to look negative when that's just circumstance. So point being, though, when Wesley McGriff was hired, and I don't remember what we said. We do a lot of podcasts. But everybody talked about, he's this recruiter and he's this recruiter. Well, some of what happened with Wesley is that he had never called defense before. He's so ingrained with trying to figure out that side that it hurts your recruiting because you're tasked now with, hey, I'm leading the X's and O's and the schemes and all the stuff over here. Well, that's going to be a detriment to what Wesley used to be was, in a good way, a recruiting mercenary. So you can't be both those things, and that's what MacIntyre a little bit. It's like know where your role is in recruiting, but have the rest of the staff ready to win those recruiting battles. You got foot soldiers for a reason as position coaches. That's who should be taking care of the big time recruiting wins, and then you've got Luke and MacIntyre and those guys that are kind of your closers to go in there and finish this thing off. So I think in some ways we overemphasize the coordinator recruiting aspect because they're not necessarily the guy that's going to get in there and get everything done. You need other really dynamic people for that. You need those mercenaries.
You need your position coaches to be great recruiters.
That's not what this is. This is an overarching thing where you've got to be good at that, but you got to fix this defense. Ole Miss, according to people in the industry, it was really negative as far as their schemes and their alignments and their coaching prowess from a defensive standpoint last year on an overall standpoint. It's got to get fixed, and that's MacIntyre's job. Above all else, it's fix the defense to whatever ability the players you have on the roster give you ability to do that.
I talked to an industry person in the coaching profession who said when he watched Ole Miss on film defensively, he thought two things. One, who the hell recruited this group? Was there ever a plan? And two, do they practice? He was just brutal with it. He goes, it's on film, it's just awful. Awful. And so they've got to improve in both of those areas. We said this all season. It's not an or thing. It's an and thing. You got to get better players, and then you have to have a scheme that they can understand. Because you can be the Sean McVay of defensive coordinators. And if you put a scheme out there that the kids can't understand, can't execute, and can't adjust to, it's not going to work. You have to have a plan that they can get, that they can execute, that they can play with confidence. You have to be able to communicate that plan to kids, to 18 and 19 and 20-year-old young people. You have to be able to execute a scheme. It's not as simple as, well, we're going to have this complicated deal. No, that won't work. You've got to be able to simplify it and yet do enough that it gives offensive coordinators things to think about, that you can trick people, that you come.
It's quite the task, but you're paid a lot of money for that task.
He's getting paid $1.5 million by Ole Miss, which is, by SEC defensive coordinator terms, it's probably upper half.
Yeah, essentially they took the Pete Golding offer and handed it to Mike MacIntyre.
Sure.
Probably some other language somewhere else, but overall.
You said this. They went into the weekend, they had to get one of the two.
Yeah.
If they don't get one of the two today, it's a disaster.
It's reset. I think they would have completely reset because, look, I don't know if it was a favor to Mike MacIntyre. I'm not saying it was or it wasn't. I don't think DJ Elliott was ever a true candidate for this position.
I'll say it. I think it was a favor to Mike MacIntyre. It was to push Kansas along, and Kansas appears to be hiring.
Yeah, there was a vague tweet yesterday by some dude who goes, DJ Elliott's going to be announced at a Power 5 school on Monday, but we don't know the school. And it's like, well, I know the school, so you think you should know the school, but nonetheless, it's Kansas. He's going to Kansas.
To say it.
Yeah. Well, there's only so many options, too. Right. I mean, I think it might have been that, hey, look, we're all on this page here. I had a little fun on the message board for my day, but I put a breaking DJ Elliott tag up.
I saw it.
It was good. I was proud of myself. And I was kind of delirious at that point. I needed some comedy. Everything was a little too serious. Needed to calm it down a little bit.
People were angry.
Well, I mean, I had a friend text me last night, and we had come across we'd actually gotten a good bit of national credit for breaking it. And it had gone across the ESPN ticker, and someone's like, "Oh, you're proud of yourself, or whatever." It's like, I'm exhausted. I'm just glad it's over. Above all else, I'm just really glad this is done. I can move on. I can pour a drink if I'd like. We can sit down for a minute and chill, because for an assistant search, it was as nutty as you'll find. It felt like a head coaching search the last week, to be honest. From a coverage, just the nonstop of it, everything associated with it felt very head coach search, and that's not something from an energy standpoint you want to deal with for too long. So I was glad it was over.
Well, and for the people who are like, y'all going to do a DB coach hot board? I'm like, nope. 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 Not going to make it over dramatic. This was dramatic. It was important. It was vital. He had to do well, had to land a coach. They had to get their guy. Had to get some confidence back. Had to get some excitement back. It was important. And if they don't get MacIntyre, what's today, the 10th? I mean, it's a week and a half of teeth gnashing, and then you have to restart a search right around Christmas time, and I don't know where it would have gone. I think it would have been tense.
I think they would have stepped back, because I think it's been the way to go, too. You don't rush another hire just because you didn't get your other two guys. I think they would have stepped back, let the industry realize that whoever they were hiring was going to get $1.5 million for 3 years, and go, I'm going to see what fish jumps in the boat.
Yeah, see if somebody comes to you.
Somebody goes, hey, it's an SEC gig. It's 1.5 per. Let's Kevin Steele might be unemployed or whatever. Let's take that route. Let's do this.
They didn't want to get there. They wanted either Golding or MacIntyre, and they got him, and now you move on. And like I said, you can't stop here. And when the 19th comes and goes, and everybody around the country does what Ole Miss and everyone else will do, which is love our kids, great class, perfect class, really happy, got to get more of them. You can only break for Santa Claus for so long. They've got to fix their staff. Because Matt's got this program next season has to look better. It has to look better. I'm on this. I've had a lot of people push back and disagree, and it's always funny being called an apologist on one hand and a hater on the other because you cannot physically be both. But I don't think it's about wins and losses.
Yeah. I
think it's about the way that you look.
Let's take our first break of the show. Welcome a new partner to the program, the Blow Dry Bar on Jackson Avenue. That is 1801 Jackson Avenue. Give them a call at 662-638-3310, 638-3310, 10 to 6 Tuesday to Friday, 10 to 3 on Saturday. Let me tell you what's going on here. So the 4%, they're aware of what I'm talking about. They're excited because you get a blowout for $5 off by mentioning the podcast, rebelgrove.com. Anything to let you know that it is by us, but more importantly, or maybe not more importantly, but equally as important for the men listening with the significant others, get the gift certificates. They're going to enjoy it. You're going to make their day better. You get to take advantage of it. You get to make them happy. You get to save money in the process. So we're people helping people here with the Blow Dry Bar in Oxford. If there's a basketball game on a Saturday, maybe you go to the game. Maybe you send the wife or the girlfriend to the Blow Dry Bar on Jackson Avenue. She's happy. You're happy. Everybody wins here. So we'll tell you more about it as we go up, as we move on. But again, you can give them a call. You can go to their website at blowdrybaroxford.com. That's BLO, no W in that. And check it out. But gift cards, gift certificates, and $5 off the blowout with rebelgrove.com.
Guests will join us this week on the Patterson and Earhart hotline. Patterson and Earhart, attorneys at law, specialize in personal injury law and real estate law, but theirs is a general practice that can handle any of your legal needs. When you contact Patterson and Earhart, you speak to one of the partners in the firm, and that's who will handle your case, not some paralegal at a faceless corporate firm. If Patterson and Earhart can't help you, they'll refer you to someone who can. John Calvin Patterson and Wes Earhart are Ole Miss guys. They're local guys, and when you call them, you're going to get one of them on the phone within the same day, guaranteed. So whether you've been injured in a car wreck or have other legal issues, give them a call, 662-526-1992, or check out their website, pelaws.com. Your initial consultation is free. Chase was telling you about Dead Soxy. We'll have some socks at our live show tomorrow. Socks make great stocking stuffers, and Dead Soxy is your stocking stuffer solution. 'Tis the season of giving, and Dead Soxy wants to give back to the Rebel Grove community for all of its support. For a limited time, they've increased the promo code from 25% off to 35% off, and the deal is live right now on the site. This is a limited time offer only available to Rebel Grove subscribers and podcast listeners. This ad will not last, so take advantage of this holiday offering before it goes. The code may not apply to items already on sale, but is available for all remaining products, including the limited edition Rebel socks. So whether you're giving your family, your friends, or yourself a gift, give something they'll look forward to wearing over and over again. Everyone needs to experience the difference a quality sock makes. Go to deadsoxy.com, enter the code REBELGROVE at checkout to receive 35% off and free shipping on orders over $25. My 10 weekend thoughts are up. A lot about Mike MacIntyre, some basketball, some recruiting, a drink of the week, lots of links, stuff. You can check that out and also get $99 in Rivals fan shop gear by hitting cyber code. the code cyber 99 cyber. Is it 99 cyber? Chase isn't even listening to me.
Yeah, 99 cyber.
99 cyber on at checkout at rebelgrove.com. Comes with a 1-year subscription to rebelgrove.com, part of the Rivals network, and you'll get a code sent to you within about 72 hours, and you can use that code to get $99 worth of fan shop gear. It doesn't have to be Ole Miss gear. You can get Saints stuff, Bears stuff, Vikings stuff, whatever it may be. They've got it there at the Rivals Fan Shop. My 10 Weekend Thoughts are brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He's been in Oxford more than 4 decades. No one knows the residential and condo market in Oxford better than Harry. Go to his site. He'll prove it to you, harryalexander.com. Click on the Properties and Neighborhoods tab. Filter through by what you are looking for, and he'll send you send him an email. It's ha@harryalexander.com. He will take care of the rest.
Podcast is brought to you by G&M Pharmacy there on South Lamar in Oxford. They've remodeled, and they deliver local in the Oxford area. Still go in and get that flu shot. Walk-ins welcome. $25 without insurance. If you have insurance, it is free. They're also going to start curbside pickup and much more. So find them on South Lamar. That's G&M Pharmacy in Oxford. You mentioned the NFL. I was a little torn last night. I watched Bears-Rams and kind of had this conversation with a couple buddies. I couldn't really figure out exactly what I wanted to happen. I know the 1 seed was still there, but it was also would have been really nice the other way just to lock up the bye and know you're going to get that first weekend off no matter what. So I was kind of conflicted for about the first half of that game before I actually turned it off and went to bed. But couldn't decide. I was fine either way, but it was sort of a weird deal there. Not often this late in the season do you get somewhat equal help, no matter who wins a football game. So
the Chicago Bears defense is real.
It's very good. Thankfully for the Saints and the Rams, they won't have to go to Chicago and play in that stuff because Jared Goff sucks in the weather.
The cold bothered him.
Yeah, he was uncomfortable the entire night because of the temperatures and the weather there in Chicago. That's probably the most scary part of the Bears moving forward is I think they're going to be good for a little while. And if they did screw up and get home field, it's going to be very hard in January to go in there against that defense if it holds together from a roster standpoint and win the game. But either way, they were definitely impressive last night. And the Rams kind of had that game sort of like the Saints had against the Cowboys last week where they looked flat as a pancake. So we'll see. Three weeks left. Saints have moved back into the number 1 spot in the NFC, courtesy of the win over the Rams. They are tied. They are 2 games ahead of the Bears as far as the byes are concerned. And then the Cowboys won a huge game yesterday against the Eagles to take control a little bit of the NFC East.
Yeah,
they won 5 in a row.
That Eagles defensive back, bless his heart, that could have easily been a pick, maybe even a pick 6. Instead, it turns into a touchdown. I don't know how Dallas is winning with their quarterback play, but I'll give them credit. They are. Their defense is good. The deal for Amari Cooper has given them another weapon. But, man, I don't know how they do it with that quarterback play. Speaks volumes.
They're good everywhere else. They have a good run. They have a great running back. They have a good offensive line. They're good defensively. Cooper's given them a legitimate weapon at receiver. I mean, the roster's put together, and then you, in a little bit of a way, it's sort of like the really good college LSU teams. It's, hey, just don't screw it up. Just go win games.
There were some good NFL games yesterday. All the ones you just mentioned were good.
Yeah, a lot of parity yesterday.
Titans Colts was a really good game. I mean Texans Colts, not Titans. Texans Colts was a really good game. Dolphins Patriots was obviously a crazy game at the end.
Yeah. You never see that work, but people keep doing it because occasionally it works. So that's
you do it because you got a 1 in a gazillion chance, and so you try it.
Gronkowski kind of fell down, and it just was
took a bad angle.
Frankly, the play was screwed up the most from the very beginning because that DB did a terrible job of covering the initial throw from Tannehill. That's the one where it easily could have just been knocked down or grabbed right there and all been done before all the crap started. So, I don't know. Just thought.
Yeah. There were some good games. The Seton Hall, Kentucky basketball game was phenomenal early Saturday.
Kentucky 0-2 against the 2 top 75 teams they've played so far.
Seton Hall, man, made plays. They just made plays.
Tennessee knocks off Gonzaga.
Tennessee's good. Alabama beat Arizona.
State beat Clemson.
Yeah, the league's good.
Yeah, well, yesterday was a needed day. Frankly, they had lost a bunch of clunkers too going into this weekend. The league has been much more uneven than maybe a lot of people thought they would be, but they did have a good weekend this weekend overall.
Had a good weekend, and it's a good league, and you're going to see that in league play. League play is going to be interesting for a lot of teams. Ole Miss got a nice win on Saturday night.
Did what they were supposed to do on the road at Illinois State. They're
exactly where I thought they'd be at this point. I missed.
You had the tournament games flipped.
I had the tournament games flipped in Destin, but I had them at 6-2 right here, and I think they're going to win the next 4. I think they're going to be 10-2 when they go into league play and they catch a break.
Because of Andy?
Andy's got an injury. That's a winnable game.
Is it at home or in Nashville?
No, it's in Nashville, and it will be difficult. But Bandy has not been the same team without their lottery pick point guard. Go figure.
I'm shocked.
So, it's a chance to win a game, and then they come home and play a really good Auburn team, and then we'll see. People do this. I've gotten this question. You and I talked about it before the show. Is this a tournament team? Probably not. But they're interesting. They're interesting. Here's what they've done. They have no bad losses. They have a handful of nice wins. No great win. Handful of nice
San
wins.
Diego and Baylor are their best wins.
Yeah. 2 nice wins. There's a chance by the end of the season that Illinois State's a nice win. There's a chance it's not.
Yeah, that team did not have the look of last year's team to me.
No, there are people trying to make this. My advice to fans on this season, and I know nobody wants it, but I'll give it anyway. Just enjoy the progress. Enjoy the process of how they're playing.
The journey, as someone would say.
Enjoy the journey.
You're not in the wilderness.
Getting out of the wilderness.
You got a machete and you're just tearing down the wilderness.
Well, you don't want to be violent.
Well, it's for the grass and the hay and
okay.
I'm clearing the path with my machete.
Okay.
For the guy that doesn't watch slasher flicks, your head went there really, really quickly.
You want to keep your eyes forward. Yeah, just one chop at a time.
Yeah. Brick by brick.
And if you get tired, never mind. I think they're fun to watch. Just let it be fun. There are teams in the league that are better than them. Is the league going to be good enough to get 8 bids? I don't know. We'll see. Is Ole Miss good enough to win some of these games against teams like Tennessee and Kentucky and Mississippi State and Auburn and Alabama? We'll see.
And not just from an Ole Miss standpoint, just from a league standpoint in general, you need the league white hot if you plan on trying to get in this thing at 9-9, 10-8.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think the start, it's 10-8 with a great resume, and it's really 11-7 to start the conversation. I think
probably 11-7, maybe 10-8. If it's 10-8, you have to beat Iowa State when they come.
Yeah, 10-8 means you've run through some games, and you've won the right conference games too.
Right. Yeah, that's my thing when people go, so what do you think? Well, they're going to have to win some of those games. They haven't done that yet. Now, they haven't lost those games yet either.
They get the Cyclones at home?
Who?
They get the
Iowa State's here.
Okay.
So we'll see. The tournament conversation is so premature right now that it's silly. That's when people start writing about whether this is or isn't a tournament team. They're just creating content for the sake of content. It's not time to talk about that yet. Let's see what they look like in their first 4 SEC games, and then go from there. But this season, so far, and assuming that they win against Southeastern Louisiana on Wednesday, and they beat Chattanooga, and they beat Middle Tennessee, and they beat Florida Gulf Coast. Those are their 4 non-SEC games that are left before league play begins in January. If they win those games at 10-2 with losses to Cincinnati and Butler, you're in great shape. You would have done literally just about as well as you could have possibly hoped to do in the non-league.
He got some experience at Hinkle. Didn't get run out of the building. Got in a game late.
Played a Cincinnati team that has given everyone it has played fits. No shame there. That loss didn't hurt you at all. The loss to Butler didn't hurt you at all. It's going to come down to your ability to win games. We'll see. He's getting great minutes, great production out of Breein Tyree. He's getting pretty good production out of Schuler. He's getting what you thought he would get out of Terrence Davis. Two of the freshmen, Henson and Buffin, look like legitimate SEC players, potentially high-level SEC players. And then he's mixing and matching with guys like Stevens and Olenichik and Rodriguez to get some minutes in the post.
Just trying to do anything from a post experience standpoint.
And just seeing if they can figure it out. And he's trying to bring the two Hallums and Naylor along. They're both athletic as hell. He's just trying to get something out of them. And if they continue to develop, they'll be interesting. But it's been fun to watch. It's been refreshing. If you're an Ole Miss basketball fan, the kids are playing hard. It appears they're having fun. It appears that they've completely bought in. Let it be that for a little while, in my opinion. That's my psychology help for the day. If you'd like to send me a $100 check for my therapy session, you can. I'm not holding my breath. But don't do this tournament or bust thing right now. I think it's a mistake.
Stick to the process.
They're not. You don't know. This will be construed. I know it will be. It'll get back. McCready said this is not a tournament team. No chance. And I'm not saying that. I don't think it's a tournament team. But they're better than I thought they'd be right now. But the league's tough. And to get to the tournament, like you said, Chase, you got to win games. You got to win a lot of games. And you got to beat some of the good teams. Because the way that the thing works, you have to have high-level wins. The great thing about the league is the league's so good that you're going to get tons of chances.
Yeah. And there's no RPI drain, I don't think. It might be one or two that I'm not aware of, but I don't think so.
No, not really.
Carolina's bad, aren't they?
They've been shaky.
Yeah. I follow a couple of Carolina writers on Twitter, and it looks like they're always losing games. But
yeah, I mean, I don't think there's going to be clunkers in there. There's not going to be that. And they're not using RPI anymore, but I'm using these numbers for the hell of it. There's not going to be that 249 that pops up on your conference schedule and you lose, and you're like, well, that's the killer.
What are the cutoffs for the quadrants? We talk about quadrant wins now. What are the breaks in that?
I need to study it more. Honestly, I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
I didn't
know if quadrant one was a 50 or a 100 or what, so that was kind of my question.
And I think it's 50.
Okay.
But I'm not positive.
Okay.
It's that deal where literally as a kind of a beat writer, I've just sort of let the thing sort of play out at the beginning. Not doing the breathless, what does this mean from a tournament standpoint? So far, nothing.
You hadn't played your way out of it. That's it.
Yeah. You're okay.
Done.
You're there. We'll see. Got to win games. And we'll find out whether they're good enough to win games. I think they're going to be good enough to be in some games.
Little around the league thing here from a football standpoint. Gus Malzahn has made a hire. However, he is going to call the ball plays himself.
You don't say.
He's taken over the play calling, so he brought in a coordinator to kind of sort of coordinate, I don't know, basically to recruit, I guess. I'm not really sure what this guy's job is, but
run drills and practice.
Run drills, yeah. Do something else where Gus doesn't have to do it, essentially, be an assistant. But he's going to
do a little quarterback drill where they throw the ball through a tire and
work on the mesh points.
Work on points and stuff. Yeah, you got to have. Gus can't stand over there and coach that all day.
Come on.
But he can coordinate that offense.
He makes too much money to work on mesh points at practice.
Auburn's offensive coordinator is one Gus Malzahn.
He said early 2017 when Chip Lindsey was hired that he was retiring that clipboard forever. He was done with it.
Forever turned out to be a little more than a year.
Yeah, a little more than a year, and situations have changed. I need him to come back with the sweaters and the whole deal, and let's be Gus. Let's do the really bad fist pump boom thing he does after big plays. Let's be that guy.
I know I'm a big jerk. I'm gonna give you some more life advice today. Never, always bad words. Forever bad word. Big, too big.
Never be definite.
Never, ever, forever.
Always.
Basically anything that ends in ever, bad. Always, terrible. Bad words.
And look, he knows he's on the chopping block. I mean, he might be gone no matter what, frankly. But whatever it is, he's got to win a lot of football games next year. If you're going to get fired, do it your way, by gosh. Go call plays.
Next year be a good year to be an Auburn fan. You win every game no matter what.
Gus is gone, or you're winning a lot of dang games.
Yeah, I mean,
one or the other.
If you go to the Auburn, who do they open with? Oregon?
Yeah, that's
Dallas.
right.
You go to that game in Dallas, you could go in and at the end of this day, I'm happy. We either beat Oregon,
I mean, that's gonna be a good
or I
day.
got that sumbitch fired. Either way, that drink's going to taste good tonight. War Eagle.
They are going to run into the strange deal, though, where the boosters are rooting against the team.
They're already there.
Yeah. They win a game, and everybody's grumbling walking out of the boxes.
Who they play in the Music City Bowl?
Purdue.
There are a lot of Purdue fans in the Auburn suites.
Go Boilermakers.
There's no doubt.
Boiler up, I believe they say.
Boiler up.
The up bothers me more than the nation bothers me for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, the up bothers me. I don't know why, but it does.
I guess I don't hear it so much that it doesn't bother me. Everything Nation drives me crazy, including Cubs Nation. Can't stand it.
It's kind of a weird hill to die on, but okay.
I'm not dying on it. It just bothers me. Hey, Rebel Nation. What does that even mean?
The nation of Rebel fans.
Why not just mean, but they're not a nation. Why not just say, hey, Rebel fans? Hey, Sooner fans? Hey, Wildcat fans? Hey, Tiger fans?
Actually, the definition of nation is a stable community of people formed on the basis of
We're out.
Based on a common language, territory, economic life, ethnicity, or psychological makeup manifested in a common culture. Technically, it applies.
What's the definition of up?
Not down. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like pornography. I know it when I see it. I don't know. Definition of up. I mean, the state of being higher than you were? I mean, what?
I don't know. I don't know whether up has some different connotations than we readily think of.
Toward the sky or a higher position.
Okay.
To a place where someone is.
Okay. From
a lower to a higher point.
So if you say boiler up, you mean let's take this thing higher.
That's fair. Directed or moving toward a higher place or position. Yeah. That is more.
Let's get to a more higher
in a
spot.
cheerful mood or ebullient. A period of good fortune.
Yeah.
Do something abruptly or boldly. Or cause to be increased.
A lot.
It applies, but it just annoys me. That's the one that gets me worse than the other one. So.
Okay. Well, everyone can have their own idiosyncrasies. You can be upset by up, and I can be tired of nation.
Did you get emotional to the movie Up?
Yes.
Did you?
Sure, of course.
Did you really?
Yes. It's sad.
It's sad. A lot of sad Disney movies. Somebody on our message board over the weekend said they saw Toy Story for the first time in their lives. Did you see that thread?
I did. I didn't read it, but I did see it.
Yeah.
What was the saddest Toy Story?
It's 3. It's not close.
Yeah.
Because it hits the people that are older that are going to be affected emotionally by these movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's 3. There's not a doubt in that. Toy Story 3 is sad.
Yeah, when he has to
freaking drama.
He has to leave his toys with the little girl and move on.
Stages of life and whatnot. Including the stage where you buy a house and then you need a mortgage broker. Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Seto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. They're getting local underwriting and understands your market. A leader in condo financing and the float down option, which allows you to lock in the current rate. But if rates go down before you close, you get that lower rate. 662-234-2704 or JLOW, JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
Including that stage where you decide you want a Nissan vehicle. You call Grenada Nissan. It's Grenada Nissan, located just off Interstate 55 in Grenada, Mississippi. They have a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Go in, test drive one today. Tell Gene and Sandy Grass that you heard about Grenada Nissan on this here Potato Log podcast or at rebelgrove.com, and you'll save Rebel savings on top of the already great deals at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. My post-game columns and this podcast also sponsored by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust, based in Madison, Mississippi, represents clients in 24 states, has advisors in 3 states. It provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much, much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity and decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. Regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan. Cookie-cutter financial planners do not do that. They ask you a couple of questions and throw you in a pre-fabricated box. Pinnacle Trust builds a box just for you. To learn more about Pinnacle Trust, go to pintrust.com, PINN trust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast, and you'll get 10% off your first year's fee. We'll be at the Westin Jackson on Tuesday night. You should be too. You can go early and go visit Soul Spa, the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson. Indulge in personalized massages, signature facials, soothing body treatments, and much more on their extensive spa list. Escape from the everyday and rejuvenate yourself in their luxury spa today. And there's a decent chance, I don't want to guarantee it, but there's a decent chance that we might have a cocktail or four at Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro. Sip on a creative craft cocktail or enjoy their curated wine list. It's open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Chef Caden's mission is to connect guests with the community through local partnerships. So gather at Estelle tonight. And the podcast brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you've been thinking about that golf trip with the guys that you'll never forget, or an anniversary trip that she'll never forget, a spring break trip, a summer trip to Scotland or Ireland for golf, whatever it is, get in touch with John. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values and unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. The way it works is you call John, you give him some parameters, where you want to go, how long you want to go, what's your budget, what's your idea, what do you want to do, what do you want to get out of the trip, and he'll give you options. He'll do the research for you. You can just tell him that and then chill out. You can go peruse the internet doing other things like rebelgrove.com, and he'll do all the search. He'll find things that you will not find, and you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast.
That famous ripped kangaroo died. See that over the weekend?
No.
Yeah, the 12-year-old kangaroo that's was real famous on the internet for being all swole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
He
looked all
passed?
steroided up. Yeah, Roger, he died at 12. I guess that was a long life for a kangaroo. I guess they have sort of dog years. I don't know.
Huh.
No one seems like he died early. It seemed like he died on time, if you will. So, yeah.
May he rest in peace.
Big boy.
I would not have wanted to fight him.
You think Roger would have whipped you?
Yes.
Kangaroo's pretty stout, you think? They did talk about how he could crush metal bends with his hands.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that he would beat me because I don't think I could crush a metal bin with my hands.
Do you not?
No, I'm not in a hurry to have a big fight with anyone, including
the Peloton workout doesn't help you bash metal bends with your hands.
I wouldn't think. That's another reason I'm glad this defensive coordinator thing is over. I was trying to do workouts over the weekend and my phone just rang. I'd look at it and go, I got to take that call. I need to take that call. I'd have to turn the volume down. I'd come back and I'd fall in 50 spots on the leaderboard. It was
Bless you.
Very sad.
Really changed your day.
Well, it did. I'm trying to lose weight.
Friday, the phone was bad.
Yeah.
That was the worst day.
Saturday was pretty rough, too.
Yeah. I guess it was because Friday I was doing things, and it was like, okay, stop, do this. So it was kind of all over the place. But anyway, best moment of your life, best day of your life, getting killed on the internet. Harold Baines this morning for not having a career up to par for the honor that you just received. At the end of the day, you don't care. You're in the Hall of Fame. But probably a little weird when 99.9999% of the people disagree with your induction into said Hall of Fame, in my opinion. Just, I don't know. A little strange this morning.
Yeah. Here's the interesting one. Who was the guy that they talked about? Oh, Will Clark. Will Clark has better numbers in virtually every category than Harold Baines. And no one talks about Will Clark being a Hall of Famer.
So what was the reasoning? What was the push for Baines? What kind of happened here? Do you know? I mean, do we have any idea?
I don't. I know he was very popular with writers and such, and I think that helped him.
Very pedestrian numbers. He never drew more than 6.1% of the vote in the 5 elections by the Writers Association, far from the 75% required. And he admits, completely shocked, never expected this day by any means.
Never thought he'd get in the Hall of Fame.
No.
Who was the other guy that got in? Lee Smith?
Lee Smith, yeah. That's fine. No one's jumping on Lee Smith this morning, but
he was a great closer.
I don't know, just from a personal standpoint, I found it kind of interesting that you get this and it's that widespread that everyone has better numbers than you in that top echelon that's not in the Hall of Fame. You got a Hall of Fame that he's in and Andrew Jones isn't. That, this guy isn't. I mean, Fred McGriff has really good numbers comparatively. Just kind of looking at it. So
I think Fred McGriff had a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
I mean,
had that streak of 30 home runs or more seasons and all that stuff.
This is like one of my hot takes that bother people. Having been to the Hall of Fame, I don't really think it's that big of a deal.
It's just a legacy note. I mean,
yeah,
it's a big legacy note.
It is.
It's a bigger deal in thought than it is in execution.
People know who was a great player and who wasn't. Like, I don't have to have someone tell me that Fred McGriff was a great player for me to know that Fred McGriff was a great player. I don't have to have someone tell me that Will Clark was a dynamic hitter for a long time for me to know that Will Clark was a dynamic hitter for a long time.
Just because he had off the field or whatever you want to call it stuff to keep him by the Hall of Fame, the 4,256 hits say Pete Rose is a great baseball player. I mean, so.
Steroids or not, I know that Barry Bonds for more than a decade was the dominant hitter in baseball. And all I really have to hear is Greg Maddux talk about it. Yeah. Where Greg Maddux says, someone said, how difficult was it to pitch to Barry Bonds? And Greg Maddux said, it wasn't. If it meant anything, I walked him. There were 8 other guys in the lineup. The goal of pitching is to get 27 outs. I wasn't getting my 27 with him. I was going to get them with the other guys. He was clearly heads and shoulders better than the other hitters, and they're all major league hitters that are paid significant amounts of money to carry a wooden stick to the plate and swing it around ball. And so when Greg Maddux, who was one of the 3 or 4 best pitchers of a generation, says, if it meant anything, I walked him. I'm good. Put him in the Hall of Fame.
Mentioned the NFL a minute ago. I'll give you, as been doing every Monday, a little bit of a playoff picture heading into the next week. I know there's a Monday night game, but still.
Who plays tonight?
I don't even know, to be honest. No idea.
Let's see if Siri knows.
Okay.
I have a visit with Siri. Hey, Siri, who plays in the NFL tonight?
The Vikings face the Seahawks at 7:50.
I did know that now that she said that.
It's the Vikings face the Seahawks at 7:15 p.m. on ESPN. Vikings 6-5-1. Seattle 7-5. It's actually not a bad game.
So in the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs still maintaining that top spot at 11-2. The Patriots, even after their loss at 9-4, they have a tiebreaker over Houston based off beating them. So they're the 2 seed. Houston would host the Baltimore Ravens in the first round. Houston, though, does have a tie with the Patriots, so they can easily get that number 2 spot as well. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers, losers of 3 straight, I believe, they host the L.A. Chargers in the first round, were it to be today. So
I'd like the Chargers' chances in
Chiefs
that game.
and Patriots, and then Texas Ravens and Steelers Chargers in the AFC.
Okay.
Also worth noting that the Colts and the Dolphins and the Titans are all tied with the Ravens for that 6th wild card spot.
Okay.
So 4 teams there vying for 1 spot. Huge win for Miami on that last play yesterday from that standpoint. They've kind of hung around all year. I don't know if Tunsil gave up a sack yesterday or not. He had not allowed one going into yesterday. The Saints now, as I said, taking over the 1 at 11-2, the Rams at 11-2, and then the Chicago Bears would host the Minnesota Vikings in the first round as of right now, and the Dallas Cowboys would host the Seattle Seahawks. So all those teams in the playoffs as of right now. With a pretty good lead, too, frankly, because the Panthers have fallen off the cliff, and they're in the 7th spot at 6-7.
Yeah.
The NFC has clearly created tiers here where it's 2 to 3 teams, depending on how you have the Bears, and then that next group of who's going to be in the playoffs. Our playoff picture is pretty much decided.
If you're the Rams after last night, how concerned are you about having to play the Bears in a divisional game, even with it being in Los Angeles?
I'm concerned, not near as concerned as I would be if I had to go to Soldier Field.
Yeah.
I'd be freaked out about that.
I'd be freaked out if I were them at Soldier Field, 14 degrees, and the wind swirling around at Soldier Field. I think the Rams would be in trouble in that scenario.
Yeah.
But look at what the Bears did to their running game last night. Shut it down.
Yeah, and I still think some of that's because Goff couldn't throw. So suddenly we're just going to run Gurley because he's our best player, and we're going to go that route.
The Bears won that game with Trubisky being awful.
Yeah.
Just awful. He was terrible.
Yeah, neither quarterback exactly looked good in this game.
A college note, Rashawn Gary is not going to play in whatever bowl game Michigan's in. I think they're in the...
They're playing Florida?
I think so, yeah, in the Peach Bowl. That's right. Michigan, Florida, the Peach Bowl. And Jim Harbaugh today saying that there will be others. Didn't say who, just said there will be
on
others.
his team?
This becoming quite the trend. Will Greer's not playing for West Virginia in their bowl game.
Saw that.
Greedy Williams not playing for LSU in its bowl game. As this becomes a bigger thing, what does this do, if anything, to bowl games?
My gut tells me not much because people watch bowl games because the football season is going to be over soon, and this is their last chance to watch football, so they just watch football.
It's football, so they
yeah, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
That's why people are turning on the Humanitarian Bowl or whatever on December the 23rd and checking it out. It's going to become a big story next when guys in the playoff start skipping the games.
Yes,
that's the next tier to this is if or when playoff players skip games. Until then, it's just a side note and. Fans get mad at the players, and no one else really cares, and you move on with your day. It's not a big deal. I don't think it does anything.
Were you surprised at the backlash at Scott Boras over his Kyler Murray comments?
I don't know that I saw Boras' comment.
He just said that the deal that they cut with the A's was that Kyler Murray would play one season of college football, that he was going to baseball. You know, people talk about Kyler Murray being a first-round draft pick as a quarterback, and Scott Boras saying that's not the deal we cut. He's going to baseball. And people just pushing back against Scott Boras, so angry with let him make his own decisions or whatever. Well, he did.
He did make a decision, but now it's in a contract.
Yeah.
I mean.
And Kyler Murray's saying, I'm going to play baseball.
I mean, Murray knew what he was doing when he signed the contract. It's not like they hid it from him.
He is one hell of an athlete.
He is. You did. I would have still voted for Tagovailoa.
I did.
I would have.
I thought about it.
We put a lot of importance on one game. 200 more snaps.
Yeah, and it was Texas, who wasn't a great team. I watched other people light up Texas.
Will Grier.
Yeah, he lit up Texas.
Alabama played better defenses down the stretch than Oklahoma did. I was shocked that many votes got turned around. Were you?
Yes. I mean, I'm not picking on Ole Miss here, but I use them as an example. If Alabama had wanted to pad his stats that night, they certainly could have. They could have thrown 8 touchdowns that night, Chase. I mean, I'm not making fun of Ole Miss here. I'm not piling on. I'm just using it as an example. He didn't even play the second quarter much. And they did that frequently with him.
He was 200 snaps shy of Kyler, and I think Kyler was 200 snaps shy of Haskins.
Yeah, Haskins played a lot.
Like 900-something snaps.
And he had a good year. And had I not had a personal attachment on the third place vote, I probably would have voted for him third. But I like Gardner.
He had a good year.
And he had a good year. And he finished 5th, so my vote wasn't a complete waste.
No, it wasn't some deal where everybody looks at you like, what in the world?
Right. It's not like I voted for Theo Epstein third.
I did see where I think it was Craig Stevenson was the one vote for Kenny Williams, the defensive lineman at Alabama, as the number 1 player.
I can't argue with that. There were plenty of times this season that I thought he was the best player on
He
the field.
pointed it out Saturday night and said that, frankly, he just watched it and thought he was the best guy he saw on the field.
It's cool. I don't have a problem with that.
No, I'm fine.
It's a meaningless trophy. Doesn't matter. The kids get a trip to New York, and Kyler Murray gets a pretty trophy.
Frankly, it's been a hassle because he had to deal with all the off stuff same night. So,
Yeah.
which has been crazy to watch just around the country, by the way. Yeah, I'm stopping there. All right.
No, I want to go there for a minute.
All right.
I'm ashamed of the people in our field who dig into a kid's background and discover stuff that he tweeted 7 or 8 years ago. Who among us wants to be judged for our worst day as a 14-year-old? Chill a little.
The reporter doing it should have all their background dug into.
Oh, I'd like to take the reporter that did it and throw him off a bridge. I'm so sick of that. Come on. I bet that reporter doesn't have kids. If you have kids, you don't want your kids judged. It's why I've pushed back on the network a little bit with why you have such a problem with writing stories about 8th graders. Because they're 8th graders. Have you ever had an 8th grader? 8th graders aren't thinking about their college future with any degree of seriousness. No way you're making a college decision as an 8th grader. Well, I'm looking at these 30 programs. Cool. Of those 30, 20 will look significantly different in 4 years. Why not just say, hey, this kid's really good. He's one to watch. Look, he's a neat kid. Next. I don't like the profiles of 2024 quarterback Pete Johnson. Just hear yourself. And the same thing applies to what Pete Johnson, some 2025 quarterback out there right now, has a Twitter account as a 12 or 13-year-old, and he's tweeting something stupid.
Because he's 12 or 13 years old.
Or sexist. Or racist. I mean, I just think when we start defining people as, well, here's what they're all about, by what they said as a 12-year-old, I think that's absurd. And we should have more common sense.
Instead, the guy wanted the clicks.
Wanted clicks. And his company let him get the clicks because they want the money that comes with those clicks. It's reprehensible. From all accounts, Kyler Murray is a really neat kid. Great athlete. Played hard. I remember when they lost to Texas early in the year, that one of the Texas coaches searched the field to find him, and they got it on audio, where he said, "You're one hell of a football player. It's a pleasure to coach against you. Proud to say I shared a field with you." All that stuff. It should be about that. Not what you tweeted as a 14-year-old. Now, had he tweeted it last week, totally different deal.
Yeah, of course.
But he tweeted it as a 14-year-old kid? Come on, people, stop. He wasn't even driving yet. I've got a 15-year-old who's soon to be 16. She's very active on social media and Instagram and stuff. We're really going to judge? We're going in 10 years, you're going to judge Caroline by what she Instagrammed as a 15-year-old girl? Well, if you do, here's my response to you. Screw you. She's a kid. Let them be kids. That's all I'm saying. I can't stand some of that. I hated that for Kyler Murray. And that you would do it hours after he wins the Heisman Trophy on what should be a good night for him. Just let it be.
So I'll get into the Christmas spirit. We can do that with the Holiday Village still going on at the Ford Center 1 to 5 every single day through December the 15th. Tomorrow, December 11th, the Oxford Community Market is going on from 3 to 6:30 at the Armory Pavilion. The Powerhouse on December the 14th is going to have a holiday ornament auction at 7 o'clock. You got Breakfast with Santa at the Powerhouse December 15th from 8 to 11. Got Elf Pictures December 15th at R&R Cookies. You got a Grinch Story Time December 15th at Squares Books Jr. So many different things going on with the holiday season. Visit oxfordms.com/events to see the full list of what's going on. Kids are gone. You can enjoy the town, enjoy the square, hang out, eat, drink, and be merry. And again, visit oxfordms.com.
I'm going to read some ads in a second. Before I do, I'm going to get ahead of something because I can feel it coming on the message board. Well, y'all did that to Laramie Tunsil. Completely different thing. Laramie Tunsil's draft stock fell that night because of social media. What happened that night was actually impacting what happened to him in the NFL draft.
Kyler Murray's thing comes out a week earlier. He doesn't win the Heisman Trophy.
No doubt. No doubt. Would have swayed enough votes.
Yeah.
But I'm just pointing that out, and people go, well, y'all asked Tunsil those questions. Well, that was the story that night. It impacted the NFL draft. And then the second part of it impacted potentially an NCAA investigation. So there was a difference. Podcast also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB has a commercial checking account that is now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account, and it comes with fully interactive online banking. They'll set up any local business to deposit checks from their office and not have to worry with coming to the bank daily to deposit those checks. More than likely, any business owner at another bank is now paying a monthly fee for their account, and they're most assuredly not making 1% on their money. To learn more about OUB, check out Live Oxford, bankoxford.com, or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. And the podcast is brought to you by Megan Phillips with LAH Real Estate. She's the person to call for all your real estate needs in the Birmingham, Alabama area. With almost a decade of experience, Megan's knowledge and expertise can help you buy or sell your home today. So visit her website, meganmphillips.com, or call Megan at 205-602-7929. Again, 205-602-7929. And that's MEAGANMphillips.com.
Brandon Bolden scores 2 touchdowns yesterday. Bradley Sowell scores a touchdown yesterday in the NFL.
Yeah.
So, big day for Ole Miss skill position players there. I think Bradley also scored one in 2008 in the Egg Bowl. Isn't that right?
I think
State?
he did, yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
10 years ago?
10 years ago. Still in the NFL 10 years later.
Well, he was a freshman then, so it wouldn't be 10 years.
Still in the NFL.
He is still in the NFL. Bobby Massey's still in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember somebody citing NFL contacts that Bradley Sowell would play in the NFL for a while.
Massey, the author of the infamous hat flip with Alabama back in the day.
He did
before Hargrave kind of got out of the recruiting conscience.
That was back when they were very much in it. That was
a little
near
bit.
The end.
Really important players coming at Hargrave. Bobby Massey. I mean, Marcus Temple makes the hit on Tebow, makes the tackle.
And Ricky Williams.
Fast. And Ricky was fast.
There's
a couple other ones, too. A.J. Hawkins, a Hargrave guy.
Who?
Wasn't A.J. Hawkins a Hargrave guy?
I can't remember. I know Jarrell Poe was at Hargrave for a little while.
He was. Jarrell Poe.
Hey, Rebel fans, conference play starts next month for your Ole Miss men's basketball team. SEC single-game tickets now on sale for just $20. That includes Auburn, Mississippi State, Tennessee, Kentucky. To purchase, visit OleMissTix.com. You can also go to OleMissTix.com and get tickets for the Ole Miss women's hoops team action on Wednesday as they host Louisiana Lafayette. Look at Paris slipping in Louisiana. It's Louisiana Lafayette.
Did he really?
Yeah. Annual Kids Day game is 11 a.m. Tickets can be purchased by visiting OleMissTix.com. Jackson area Rebels coach Kermit Davis and the Ole Miss men's basketball team are coming to see you Wednesday. The Rebels will take on Southeastern Louisiana in the Mississippi Coliseum. Tickets start at just $5. You can get your tickets at OleMissTix.com. And the Ole Miss men's team returns to the friendly confines of the pavilion on Sunday as they host Chattanooga at 5 p.m. Santa Claus will be making a special appearance, and tickets start at just $10 to purchase. Visit OleMissTix.com.
We'll have a full breakdown of Southeastern Louisiana with Kermit Davis tomorrow night from the Weston. I'm kidding. We're not going to mention Southeastern Louisiana probably at all. So other than to say those $5 tickets are available to anyone that is in the room, they can pick those up. You made mention last week. I mean, Santa has so many social engagements. The final month of the Christmas season, it is amazing anything gets done. Just Crazy.
Well, it just tells you the absolute. It's like, hey, Matt Luke's learning. You got to have a good staff. If you're Santa Claus, you got to have a good you got to have elves.
You got to learn to delegate.
You have to have elves do it all, because if you're trying to do it all and make all of these appearances, it's not going to happen.
You think he's better at managing the schedule now versus 800 years ago?
I would think.
Learn with time.
Oh, he better be, because the schedule's more hectic now. Probably weren't nearly as many demands 800 years ago.
That's true.
If you think about it.
He's had to grow with the times.
Like, you do wonder if, even just like 250 years ago, did you have to, go to Mount Vernon, spend some time with Washington and the kids pre-Christmas?
I mean, all over the world, not just in the United States.
I'm just thinking just America.
I don't think he favorites one country over another, do you?
So you think that back in the day he went and visited with Napoleon?
Guatemala gets as much time as anybody else?
That's interesting.
Think there's a tier system?
I mean, you do have to put some priority on stuff.
Oh.
Right?
So you think he tells somebody no?
No, I think he goes all the way around the world. But, I mean, you got to make you do wonder, like...
I think like Mongolia is just out of luck.
Probably.
Oh.
I mean, when they map that thing out, how are we going to get this done today? I wonder if...
You don't think the first pin's put in Mongolia?
Probably not. I wonder if how often you have to keep up with population. Like, what are we looking at here?
Probably a team of data experts.
I would think it's quite a team.
Control center looking stuff.
A lot of elves. I bet it is, like, hellacious right now. Just because someone's behind on production of something, trying to catch up, wondering, do you have enough of some widget, some toy, like the people making dolls, the elves making dolls, the elves making teddy bears.
That's a good point, too. It was much easier when it was just ball, doll, wagon, bat.
And now they want an iPad. I mean, there's a lot. That's just a lot there.
Well, don't you contract that out to Apple?
Oh, yeah, I would think so, absolutely.
That's all on... There's a referral system in place
for example, my elf.
Jimmy.
He's
He's not your elf.
He's my elf.
He is not your elf.
The hell he's not. He contracted out some stuff this year to script the jewelry.
There you go.
Did it just the other day.
Tell you about that in the days ahead. Anyway, I don't know. Really don't have much else. I'm still a little fried. Like, I'm better. I'm good. I'm not going to the wrong restaurants or anything, but just still a little tired. One more day, and I'll be all right.
We might have another one of these in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. I'm not even saying it. Never mind. I'm not jinxing anything.
You think that one's going to be a little more simple?
If it's more complicated, then there's some issues, put it that way.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's more complicated. I really don't. I think it's going to be all right.
Gotcha.
You don't?
No, I think it probably is. Probably is.
I did think the officials missed that huge call in the Eagles game yesterday that probably swung it, even though they ended up scoring on the drive anyway. Malcolm Jenkins, former Saint, current Philadelphia Eagles safety, suggested NFL replay officials, quote, stay off the bottle following the controversial call.
Which one was that? Because I was watching the game and I'm trying to remember which call we're talking about.
He is talking about the his hit on returner Jordan Lewis that resulted in a fumble that they appeared to recover coming out of the pile with the ball. They originally thought Lewis was down by contact. The Eagles challenged, and while the call was reversed to a fumble, Dallas maintained possession because recovery, quote, wasn't clear on instant replay.
Gotcha. Yeah, I missed that part.
Yeah. It was on the opening kickoff. So if you weren't around, you missed it at the beginning.
I wasn't watching the beginning.
Missed a lot of calls, though. It was a really bad performance from an official crew yesterday in the NFL.
Yeah, that was about the time that story was breaking.
It was, yeah. A little occupied at the moment, but
yeah.
Nonetheless, there's that. All right, RebelGrove.com. Got recruit reaction. Got a story on Mac. Got the the status of all the players coming back, what they've done production-wise, who's gone. Some interesting stuff, not just there from the end of 18, but also what leaves after 19. So check that story out at rebelgrove.com. I'll probably go through it a little bit with you tomorrow on the show, and then reminder, tomorrow night, if you're in Jackson, come hang out with us, Kermit Davis, Mike Espy, the Ole Miss M Club, and that will be Wednesday's podcast, so you'll get a recorded version of that show, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.